Cyberpunk 2077 is a wild adventure into a Blade Runner-esque world of hackers and ne'er-do-wells. It starts with, well, it doesn't start. That's the problem. Conscientious about the massive amount of data that was to be used, between 80 to 110 gigabytes, I sent Sophia to scoop up a physical copy. We still had to wait all night to download the massive update, so whatever. I woke up at 3, it was finally ready, and I couldn't wait, especially with everything I'd heard about the game. Anyone I got on the phone with, boom, they either already had the game or were playing it. Thankfully, the game of the season is available for most gamers to play, as opposed to the, PlayStation 5, which is also available on, so don't fucking correct me. Which admittedly has caused me to miss the days where I'd say to my, at the time, well-off father, as a child of divorce, I want this system for Christmas, Dad, and he would get it every time. Yeah, we were spoiled kids, but at least we weren't poor then. So now it's December 2020, and Cyberpunk has hit the shelves and our hearts. Throughout the social media-verse, I cringed at the so-called reviewers obtaining advanced copies so that they could write a 2-tweet review, slamming the game for not being boring, or for not being not boring enough. Who to believe? Well, there were many more good reviews than bad ones. It seems a lot of those who thought it was a mundane romp or individuals who would be tearing apart a best-selling novel for their book club, but found themselves doing games because of the popularity of it all. Critics are the worst, except for Nostalgia Critic and the Cinema Snob. It's like literature vomited diarrhea, scooped it back up, added some movies, and ate it. Wouldn't you rather an actual gamer tell you the score? One who is also a writer? Once the hell of waiting was finally over, it was time to open her up. Character creation time. This is where a lot of people have fixated their interests. Mostly the adjustable penises and vaginas. A fine idea if there ever was one indeed, although you only get one vagina if you're a fucking listener, okay? But you can adjust the pubic hair. From the moment it started, I felt totally immersed, swallowed up by the dingy, grimy, grungy world. Cyberpunk forces the user to answer tough questions. Like, is the guy on the box supposed to be Justin Timberlake? I don't know. Looks like him. Similar to how this game feels like several others. The more experienced and astute of gamers know that this could pass as a sequel to Deus Ex, and nobody would bat an eye. It also possesses elements of Fallout, Shadowrun, and Borderlands, all games that I enjoyed very much. The stealth elements are a welcome addition, another thing with which Deus Ex was a pioneer. But I'm not saying Ghost in the Shell, I mean A Standard Darkly, I mean Hackers, I mean Blade Runner lacks originality, I mean Cyberpunk. Although it does bits and pieces from all these famous film and game franchises, the result is something wholly original and worth playing. The fact you can scan rooms to see the multiples of pickups is a godsend. I hope more games in the future do this, since I miss a lot of items when playing games like this. The combat is swift. Sometimes a tiny bit unresponsive, like when I was shooting guys in a car chasing us and it didn't seem like I was hitting them until they died. I love the sword action. Chopping jerks from here to next Tuesday is fun for those among us given to such proclivities. About 2 hours in, I experienced my first fatal game-quitting error. Before that, the glitches seemed limited to NPCs moving around strangely, clothes disappearing, stuff not loading, stuff like that. But I almost lost quite a bit of progress because I elected to not save moments before. Thankfully, the autosave system took care of me. Still, be aware of this. Save often. Glitches are what the primary complaint are about Cyberpunk. Granted, it does not run as smoothly as many other games. Borderlands 3, Sekiro, Horizon Zero Dawn come to mind. But it has so much going on that I wouldn't expect it to be perfectly 100%. It really does a lot at once. I mean, it's really, truly incredible how they do this city. It fucking puts Grand Theft Auto to shame. Side note, the first Ripper doc that you meet is a Sawbones named Victor Vector, which to the computer gamers of yesterday harkens back to the edutainment game series Victor, Vector, and Yondo, and I'm sure about 0.00002% of gamers got that. Oh well, let's push onward. Yes, my girlfriend started a game, and a couple hours in, we were having a lot of fun when a new update let itself be known at the corner of the screen. Yes or no? I said, well, let's do it. It might fix some of these crazy bugs. It only says it's going to take an hour and 40 minutes to download. Holy shit, that was a mistake. It took more than 3 hours to download that update, and it wouldn't let us play the game while we were doing so. So here's my next advice. Don't agree to download the updates until you're ready to go to bed. It fucked up our night. I will say that the game seemed to run better when it did finish. Although glitches still abound, I still haven't seen the one-night experience where you go into a conversation and everything disappears except buildings and people walking in the distance. At one point it stayed like that for several minutes. This is not helping the immersion, I said. Yet, with all my complaints, I still cannot stop playing this game, and I can't stop thinking about it either. Night City is an experience for any fan of action RPGs of the past. And let's face it, we're not getting a good Fallout game anytime soon, what with Bethesda's pathetic attempts to beat the dead horse known as Fallout 76. So if you feel like you're a bad enough motherfucker, and won't be swayed by what some may call an unplayably glitchy mess, jack in to Cyberpunk 2077. Just be sure to save often, for the love of God. It's a good game. I recommend it. If you can get it, get it. If you're a kid, ask your parents for playing it before you play it, because it's got nudity, like there's boobs and stuff. Actually, maybe you don't want to ask your parents, if you don't want to sneak it through. I know a lot of us would get our parents to buy games that they weren't supposed to buy, like, Grand Theft Auto and shit. But that's up to you. I'm just saying to parents, if your kid's playing this game, you better be aware that it's pretty fucking mature. I mean, they're calling people cunts and all kinds of shit. Boobs, dicks, I made sure I got the guy with the biggest dick that I could get, and then I put a little lightning pole over his crotch. It's kind of fun. Although, granted, I haven't had any excuse to use that dick yet. So maybe I'll find something in the future. I don't know. This is one of those games where you got to play a real long time, and it releases a little bit of features for you at a time. I just found Keanu Reeves, and I just was given the option to start buying new cars, because the car they give you in the beginning is a pathetic piece of shit. So it made me not even want to drive. But you steal a Lambo from one of them Tiger Claw gang guys, you'll be driving around smooth sailing, and it's very nice. Just got to save a lot.